Hey everybody, Matt Chinnian here. I'm standing in front of my wet wall for July. It's August 1st, 2024. And I just thought I'd show them. I haven't really assembled. I used to do this all the time. I'd assemble the month's paintings and just take a picture of it just for fun. They're not necessarily wet, but they could be. And there's, I think 17 of them or something like that, which is average, about average for what my production is. And anyway, what's the number? So here, I thought I'd just show you a couple of them because there's really too many to show them all. And also, I wanted to just show how they're from. Like I went to Philly twice this month, and to the cabin. We were up at the cabin, which is the Adirondacks, and I wandered over to Bennington, which is really just local. Anyway, this was a hot day earlier in the month, and when it's hot, I like to go to the Battenkill. It's a good spot. It's cool by the water, and what I really liked about this was the patterns of tree shadows in the river. Like here, it's like the shadows from the trees that were shading me, which I really liked. And how those manifested themselves, how to handle those, and they're pretty elusive. They change, and there's a lot going on, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. And I'm attempting to keep this scene about the pattern of the water, and about patterns of the shore, and having them just be patterns, and not necessarily assigning too much to them. Anyways, it's kind of fun. That was right up the street. And then a day or so later, maybe it was a day later or whatever, I was in Philly. I went to Philly to pick up Hope and move her stuff into a storage, which was a friend's house. And then we went to get to the cabin. She was without a place to live for a week in Philly. Anyway, this is by I-95 in Philadelphia. And it's a broad sort of industrial road. And it's kind of late in the afternoon, early evening. And I needed a place with a bit of late light that had enough late light. Sometimes the streets can get very shadowy by that time. And almost dark, dusky, almost. Anyway, I found this spot, and it's a really cool spot. And, I really love highway paintings. And yeah, it was getting dusky when I finished. Then then up at the cabin, I did something I never really do much. It's the back of the cabin. And you sort of barely see the lake around the sides, barely, and the light. And you do see the gas tanks, which is kind of a prosaic feature in a pretty romantic setting. And the other one I did was I'm kind of proud of is this is Hess Pond, which we call the Beaver Pond. It's Hess Pond in inlet. It's right in back of the cabin, so I can hike out there. And I haven't been hiking much because it's difficult. And but this is a special place. It's really a very special place for a lot of reasons. And it's up on a rock, and the rock is sort of in the middle of. There's a pond on one side, and there's sort of this bog on the other, which is kind of very wet almost all the time. And needless to say, I got a hot foot. And then it started to thunder shower, but I had enough time. And essentially looking down from the rock, there's no real sky except for the reflected sky in the water, which I kind of like that. And the tree is just an awesome sort of another example of patterning and how that works, and how it breaks from the pattern and how it adheres to the pattern. It's pretty sketchy, but there you have it. Now after that, I just did the gouache watercolor, which I'm calling whatever, water medium. And I got on a roll with it. And I just, yesterday was the last one I did was the day before yesterday. And it's nice to have like a few days in a row with the same media. If I change back and forth, it gets confusing, it gets messy. So I had a good run with it. And I also did, those two aren't actually in order. But this one is a nocturne from Philadelphia. I was back in Philly, moving Hope from storage into her new house. And I always love having a chance to do urban paintings. And Philly is an amazing city for urban night paintings. But this would be, I did one in oil last year, but urban night in either media in Philly would be fantastic. There's just so much to see at night, and it's very exciting. Anyways, I don't necessarily, I don't know, there could have been maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. But it's a gas station, and urban gas stations. I have a thing for urban gas stations. The other painting I did in Philly was French Street, which is right around the corner from Hope's new house rental. And I just like this scene. It was very ubiquitous. There's a lot of basic street scene, and I had enough of a space to park. And I really like the end. At the end, there's the building on the cross street there was lit up. And I don't know if I got enough of that contrast. I mean, there's a lot of contrast here. But that end wall was lit up. And in a lot of ways, it's a T intersection, even though you can't see the T. And I'm going to show you another T intersection. I'm doing those all the time, and I'm just realizing. Anyway, the patterns of the trees and the tree shadows was also something I'm working on. I'm working on all these things and trying to figure out what that pattern is going to be and how it's going to manifest from a brush stroke. And I'm not sure where I got with this, but it was kind of fun. I came back, it was only overnight. I came back and I did this on Northside Drive in Bennington. And what struck me about this, Northside Drive is your typical strip. And Bennington's sort of late to the game because they're still doing it. And you'd think at this day, we'd stop doing this kind of thing. Anyways, there's a brand new Chipotle's and Starbucks. And it's a spot, I've painted around this little area a few times. And there's something struck me about the way these were ordered. There's like a building, then there's a space for two other buildings, and then there's the next building. And they're about the same size. They're these block-like things. They look like a large, what do you call those things? Pods or whatever, like a large shipping crate or something. Anyway, they're kind of fascinating, and they also provide an incredible contrast to the Green Mountains in the background and the street in the foreground, and sort of what that pattern of design manifests, how it manifests itself, and what you can do with it. And there's strips of grass and asphalt and grass, and I kind of like that too. I think it goes against the convention of having it uninterrupted like that. And I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm doing it all the time anyway, so what the hell, who cares? And so anyways, this is the last one of these. I didn't mention all these, but I mentioned a ton of this. This is the last one I did. It's the Fairgrounds by Hand Melon Farm. It's right to my left on this scene right over here. And I love T intersections. I've done a lot of T intersections, and they're kind of fascinating. So, and I usually don't put actual legible letters or numbers in. I just threw that in because what the hell. So those are the paintings of July. And thanks for listening. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. You know, that people point down like it was there. It doesn't exist anywhere, does it? And it was a lot of fun. I'll try to post more of this stuff. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.